talking also, staying with that particular story of, covers or no covering, the police commissioner also talked about, the abuses of the police force in Rivers State. He was talking about a situation where commissioners, just ordinary commissioners, had more than 6 policemen guarding them. And what he was trying to do was instill some discipline, and bring some order back into the force in Rivers State. That's according to him. Do you think that could also have set him on a headlong collision course with members of the state government?
That's quite possible, because we all know as Nigerians that we live in a country where constituted authority most times can be overzealous, and they like the paraphernalia of governments to be all around them all the time, and this generally leads to abuses. Now, the commissioner of police, if what he says is true, and he comes in and he notices such anomalies that shouldn't be, and he sets out to correct them, it is only standard.
Wait a minute, let me just jump in with a follow-up on this one. If you say the police notices an anomaly, and the Safe Reverse Movement wrote and he didn't think he should go there, they didn't get any response, Valentine comes through with this question. He says, which is more likely to be peaceful? A rally on the streets, or a rally at a venue with chairs and a podium?
A rally and somewhere with a chair and podium definitely is more likely to be peaceful.
I think he's trying to say, look, trying to just find out why will the police go in and disperse them, because you said you'd rather have the police come and disperse a meeting than to have thugs to come in and disperse that meeting. So I guess that's where that question comes in.
Yeah, it's always better to have the police than to have thugs.
Or this week,
you know what I'm thinking? Sorry, Mark, because I'm thinking that all sides now, you talked about the federal government, we also talked about the police, look like all those parties are not ready to resolve this crisis. Perhaps let's start looking at solutions. I'll give you an instance. Since November 12th, 2013, there's been a group of protesters protesting against immigration laws at the Capitol in the United States. And just yesterday or so, the president of that same country came out to meet these protesters who have been fasting, not eating, just taking water, and he prayed with them. So these are some protesters. So there are different ways you can protest, and you're allowed to protest about anything. But shouldn't we now be thinking of a better way to resolve this, the police inclusive, the Rivers State government, as well as the government at the center? Because you started off by saying that the federal government should also look into this.
Yeah, because I said that primarily because the federal government is in charge of security of the entire country. And if there's a security challenge in any part of the country, it behoves on the federal government to take charge of the situation.
What would you like to see from them?
What I would like to see is a situation whereby the federal government would carry out an holistic dialogue with all parties involved. Oversee. 2015 is around the corner. The governor, being an outgoing governor, will definitely have his own interest on who he wants to be his successor, and some other people in the state would not support that, and these things will play out, and it's turning to something else and seemingly becoming like a national issue. And the federal government needs to call all parties together, the police inclusive, and in that regard, what I would suggest is, if the federal government does that, to show a good faith, to all parties, two things that will become very necessary to make everybody feel calm and trust whatever the dialogue would be. One is, I don't think the Rivers State government would be comfortable with anything that continues that has the commissioner of police Joseph Mbu still there in that state. They wouldn't want that. A lot of people have been clamoring for his redeployment to some other place.
Why would anyone be doing that for a man who's been doing his job? If you were the CP in River State, what would you have done differently?
If I'm this, I wouldn't know, because I'm not wearing his shoes. I'm not there. He will know better what's going on there than you and I. Okay, because he's there, he sees everything there.
So in that case, we can give him the benefit of the doubt that he's actually on top of the game.
I want to believe so, but the fact remains that any serious dialogue that will happen, that will bring about a resolution of the problem in River State, to make every divide feel comfortable, certain sacrifices have to be made here and there.
And what sacrifice would you want to see there?
First, I would say the River State governor and his group, I still see them as PDP people. I would say first that
he's a APC anyway.
Well, he said so recently, but I still see him as a PDP man. But I would say first and foremost, he needs to calm down on a lot of talking and do a lot of in-house deliberation more.
Okay, what would you say the role of the governor is as the chief security officer of the state?
The role of the governor as the chief security officer of the state is unquestionable. That's what the Constitution...
On paper or in reality?
That's what the Constitution says.
Okay.
But what is playing out in the state is that he's not really the chief security officer, based on what has happened.
You talked about the resolution, with the federal government. Do you think that even approaching the federal government as the arbiter of this particular crisis will work, since the suspicion is against the federal government in the first instance?
It will work. And I say this because I know that any serious talk would have to be done whereby the parties involved come in and they decide to be sincere with each other.
All right, Robert Umotte, political analyst, thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.